Alright, I think I'm live. It's been a while. What a horrible week. But you're not going to be able to see shit. Okay, here we go. We got the Twin Otter this week, which is exciting. Amphibious beast. There are like 13 variations to this aircraft, which blew my mind. But yeah, I wanted to put it through its paces, so we're gonna go on a flight through New Zealand. Let me pull up Sky Vector. Perfect. So yeah, we're gonna head from Napier to Auckland with a stop off. I'm not even gonna pronounce it. A stop off at this place. Now, I chose these areas because our two stops are kind of lakeside. Auckland is up at kind of a bay here. So rather than stopping at the airports, it's my intention to just land in those bodies of water. Because, Twin Otters do what Twin Otters do. The one downside is there's no way to start cold and dark on a water runway in the sim. So we're going to have to cold and dark and take off on asphalt here at Napier. But that's okay. It's fun to go through the startup anyway. So I have rolled the time forward, I think, a little bit because it's, I don't know, 1 a.m. or something there. So for aesthetic purposes, we've rolled the time forward. Get rid of the map. Alright, we'll go through the checklist. I've done this once or twice. Some of it I think I couldn't find and ignored, but we managed. So the control lock, unfortunately, the little like zoom in eye doesn't work, but it's referring to just this like cable here. Like it basically comes with a club. So you click down here and the control lock goes away. Parking brake set. That's this one here. Parking brake set. Emergency fuel switches normal. I believe that's these here. Yeah, both normal. Fuel selector normal. That's this oddly shaped knob here. Normal. Fuel boost pumps off. That's this here. Off is your center position. So yes, it is off. Cabin lights and signs set. I don't have battery, so I don't know how I'm supposed to know if they're set. You have, like, this thing is some lights. Whatever, we'll deal with that later. Position light on. Like, is that what this is? Position light. Let's see. This doesn't seem interactable. Alright, to hell with this. Position light. Screw you. This yoke is pretty nuts. It's like shared between the pilot and the co-pilot. If you click down here, it'll go the hell away. So, what are we looking for? Pitot heat? I think that's down here. Oh, no, maybe it's... I don't know where pitot heat is. I know it exists. I've seen it somewhere. We're going on a hunt. Ram air, ventilation fan. So fuel pumps. Alright, you know what? We're in New Zealand. We're gonna assume that pitot heat is off. Where is it? I know it's here. It's frustrating that I can't find it now. eternity later. Oh, there it is. Oh, see, without the lights, I was unsure of where this panel was. So, oh my god. Pitot heat off. Perfect. Here are some lights, so let's just like turn on our lights. No smoking. Fasten seatbelt. Good enough. Generators off. Flaps up. Where? I think it might be up in that panel up here again. Yeah, right here, flaps. Okay, so flaps are up. Fuel levers are also here. We saw that they're off. Okay, propellers full forward. Power levels, flight idle. Call it there. Ignition normal. So this is your ignition here. So long as it's down, it's in the normal position. DC source and master. Finally get some power. Fuel quantity checked. Plenty of fuel. Alright, let's start her up. Forward fuel boost pump on. So that's here, forward boost up. Starter right engine engage is here. One thing I always forget, because it doesn't think it's like mentioned somewhere, is these fuel controls need to go forward, or else our mixtures are cut. So that should have our right engine starting up. And we can see RPM. Everything seems to be in the green already, so that's great. See, it does mention it, but it mentions it like at the end. Like you're supposed to start it and then put the fuel lever on, but I've never had the engine kick in with the fuel lever on, so... %, give or take. And then the starter resets itself. You can't really see. I'm not sure how I can get a light here right now. But the starter resets itself to center afterwards, so that's fine. And then we just do it all for the left engine. So aft boost. Starter left engage. We can hear it kicking in out our left ear. Anyone in the community has probably heard some feedback about some of the sound issues that this aircraft has. They're there, but I'm not going to whine about them endlessly. I'm not really a sound guy. I'm sure they'll be fixed, but there's like delays in RPM changes and your flaps when they shift position. they'll often take a full 10 seconds to like finish their sound or even start their sound in some instances. Alright, compass and dry rows. So our outbound heading from Napier is going to be 320. wish this tooltip had like a reading of what it is, so I know I'm not off by a few degrees. I think that's about 320. And our frequency is 113.8. We picked it up straight away. Nice. Okay, so we're going to be on this heading for 85 nautical miles until we approach whatever that was. November Zulu Romeo Oscar. Rotorua. But there should be a big lake there we're going to land in. So, alright, we're good. Let's get clearance to taxi. Doesn't really give us much room to turn around. Okay, we're gonna take our brakes off. We're probably gonna clothesline this asshole, but that'll be fine. Just giving it a little bit of power. There we go, we're rolling. I'm curious of what the flaps should be set at for takeoff. Flaps, takeoff, set. Cool. Is there just a takeoff detent? No. Alright, well, I guess we're just gonna put flaps at 20 degrees or whatever and hope for the best. I mean, it definitely pointed me in the wrong direction. Alright, I guess we'll turn around. I'm not sure if you could hear it, but like my flaps definitely just changed position. I don't know if they... God, this camera and this view is horrible. You can't just like pull back on your mouse because like any horizontal movement from its default position just swings you wildly. Okay. Starting to get some daylight now, that's good. One last recap of where we're going. Alright, let's go. Oh my god. That looked like someone flew right over my head. Anyway, maybe I'm seeing things. This thing's got a wonderfully short takeoff and landing, so gear up. Bring my flaps up. Our VOR indicator down there just went nuts. Like zoomed over to the other side and then we lost the frequency for a second. What a nightmare. Sorry for leaving the map up. Just sounds like something I'd do. So anytime I hit my trim, you can see it, trim is in motion, this light comes on. Y'all are going to find out how I fly real quick. This VOR course deviator is sensitive unlike I've ever seen anything before. Like it's almost like it's acting like an ADF. It just keeps zooming. Sorry, what I'm referring to is this. This just keeps zooming like one side or the other after I cross over. We do have this GPS, but we didn't plan our whole flight in the sim. We're just going by frequency like we do. See what I mean though? It just zoomed right over to the right now. That's a bug that concerns me. That's basically how I navigate. So if that isn't corrected quickly, I'll be very disappointed. It almost sounds like the internal and external sounds are reversed. Trying to track this VOR is pretty much useless, so that sucks. Let's try picking up our inbound one. 112.1. Oh, that one seems to be functioning properly. Okay, so we'll just track that one inbound. Not sure what's going on with the Napier one. It's a beautiful New Zealand morning. You gotta be careful. The other day when I was just kind of testing out the Twin Otter, I was trying to do some landings in just a random lake, just a random body of water that I'd come across. Well, I'd come across it on Google Maps anyway, or SkyVector. I was using an external map. And when I got to it in the sim and I put myself down, it was grass. It was just like a field that had been, AI'd wrong. Made for a rough landing, to say the least. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. We're a little east of what would be the magenta line, but it's okay. We're going to be landing on a fairly big lake. When we get there, it'll be pretty obvious, I'm sure. I gotta admit, my altitude is a little higher than I wish it were. We just got to make sure we get over those mountains that sneak up on us all the time. New Zealand is treacherous for mountains. The heck is going on? Turbulence, jeepers. Oh, you know. I was gonna say maybe I would be able to get distance from this, distance to the VOR, but I guess that just doesn't have it. This aircraft must just not come with DME equipment or something. Oh wait, here's a distance here. Yeah, okay, so this must be distance to like a GPS waypoint, like an airport, right? But this is the distance to the frequency? That's what I'm going with. Let's see how far off course I am. Oh, not bad, actually. Alright, so 57 nautical miles. I'm not sure if we were this far off course or if this is broken in a different way. I think it's correcting. So we'll just keep going in this heading until we align our heading. Alright, no more controlling the aircraft while not looking out the window. Yeah, okay, so it's correcting for sure. This must be like a radar altitude. Because it's tracking my altitude over like these mountains, I think. I would expect as I go over this peak that this will go down. We'll be able to test this on landing, because we should get our GPWS callouts that coincide with this, like 500, 400. So taking a sneaky look at our GPS here, this lake here, I believe, is what we're heading for. I enjoy how weathered and used the aircraft is. Like, usually you'll get one and it looks kind of shiny, but like this one's got rust at its like connection points. The floats are just dirty as all hell. It just looks like it's an aircraft that's been used. I kind of like that. A lot of my favorite aircraft are the older warbirds, like the Spitfire, and those are just like filthy messes, right? I wonder what this white line is indicating. If it's like a controlled airspace or weather formations or something. It's like we're starting to get pretty cloudy over here. We're in the soup now. I'm tempted to like just bump these clouds up 1,000 feet. 34 nautical miles. We're getting there. I think I'm going to drop altitude though. We're going to start coming in lower. Get under these clouds. Make sure we can see what we're doing. Keeping an eye on our T's and P's. Checking our fuel. I wasn't sure how much fuel we would need, and I'm a bad pilot. So, all important things. It's strange to me that this one's used more fuel than the other. Makes me wonder if I have these set differently. It was quite dark, and they look okay. Oh? Something that's kind of neat about this aircraft is you can like come back here, like sit in the front of the cabin here, take a look at all this stuff. But you can also go, whoa, hey, back here. And I'm not going to do it. I don't even know if you can do it. But you can open this like manually, which is pretty cool. Anyway. How far off course are we now? 15 degrees. Excellent. We've lost a bit of altitude at least. How far are we? 29. Coming up, coming up. Alright, holding our heading is going to be the most important part. I don't think this first lake we come across is the one we're intending to land in. Oh, we're going to like overfly it and then go into this one. Oh, I hate it. I hate how I constantly just ramble with my mic fucking muted. Okay, so I wonder if they've modeled the moon upside down when you're on this hemisphere. I'm not clever enough to know off the top of my head if that's the right way up from my perspective or not. But I would love to know that if anyone is more familiar or wants to chime in. That kind of attention to detail gets me all tingly. I want to say that just over this ridge here is the lake we're intending to land on. Propellers full forward. Okay, so I guess we're supposed to pull our propellers back. I wasn't aware of that. Alright. I guess it helps with stopping in water. I'm sure it helps stopping anywhere, but I can tell you that stopping in water is of particular concern. I wish I knew how to clear all the bullshit off the map so I could just like see the terrain. Basically bang on our heading as per our instrumentation though, so point our nose and pray. She pulls to the left a lot. Yeah, see this airport here? We're gonna land beside it. I say airport, it's probably some jerk's backyard. Some rich person's cabin landing strip. See this here? I think these are supposed to be water, but if you try to land on them, they're almost certainly grass. The flight sim's out to get you. Now we're going to start getting a bunch of GPS callouts. Terrain, terrain. Gears up for water landing. I'm going to do is I'm going to swing around this mountain ridge here and then land on the water that I suspect is on the other side. Sterile cockpit, obviously. There you can see, let's see if I can point it out, the runway here. We're going to land kind of parallel to it here, I think. It's going to be our goal. So it said our propellers should be full forward. Now, I don't know, but oh, for fuck's sakes, let me control them. Perhaps this will drop our speed the way we want, the way I normally throttle back for. I will probably do some combination of the two. Seem to be gaining speed. Let's throttle back a bunch. Adding some more flaps. Adding some more flaps. Yeah, so if we look down at our absolute altitude, we got our 500 GPWS call out when we passed over the 500 mark, so that's cool. I'm gonna have to give it a little more gas to stay over these trees. Okay, throttle back, increase our rate of descent. And we're down. Put my flaps up. Hopefully put some stop to all the porpoising. There we go. And we're in the water. Then we can, I really need something to control these better. Full back our throttle, or our propeller, I'm sorry. And we're down. Look at us go. Alright, so while we aimlessly coast here, kind of wish there was a way I could drop anchor. Alright, so from here, I think I determined that our heading is like 292, something like that. So heading adjusted. And of course we have an inbound frequency at Auckland. We might even be able to pick, well, it's fairly far. We're just going to track outbound for a bit and then we'll pick up that frequency when we're in the air. Alright, we're going to go propellers full forward. One of them didn't quite make it. And the sim has stopped giving me my cursor for fun. Oh, man. Super good. Super good. Super love this sim. It's really good. It's a really good game. There we go. Gonna pull up my flaps. There we go. And I think we're good. I think I'm just gonna go. Let's go. You can hear that sound transition. Like, that's obviously not good, right? Needs some work. One stage of flaps up. I'm just going to gain some airspeed while we climb and adjust our heading to 292. Of course I left sky vector up. Why wouldn't I have left sky vector up? One of these days you guys are going to get to see a takeoff without a big fucking map in the way. And now, for some reason, this isn't tracking properly. Like it does, man. That's really disappointing. Maybe we can tune to Auckland. It doesn't make any sense that we were able to pick it up and then it just breaks when we adjust the heading. Like that's really dumb. So 114.80 is where we can tune to Auckland on. It's almost like adjusting the heading breaks it for some reason. Like it seems to be okay now. We'll just track this, I guess. There is ADF down here. I didn't realize that. I think this is my black box. I wonder what it's recording. "25 feet. Seems inaccurate. We gotta stop climbing. I wish I could open the door mid-flight. That's my dream. Engine fire instructions. I'd like to see that stuff accurately modeled in the sim as well. It's part of aviation, right? Things go wrong. Oh, Aerosoft has finally taken off. Distance is huge. I underestimated the length of this trip. Like I do. I could have got a couple more hours of sleep today, I think. Oh no, Travis is landing. Now I'll never know where to go. $57 to Auckland now. Slowly but surely. I feel like I can probably go a little faster. I just have to like trim myself down a bunch. Hello there, Abergonia. Game modes. Microsoft Flight Sim, it kind of has two modes. I guess now there's the world, the open world, and then there's Reno where you can do races and whatnot. But it's all about finding your own fun, finding a place to fly. You wrote carrier. Do you mean career? There unfortunately isn't a career mode, though a lot of people ask for that kind of stuff. It's less a game and more a simulator, for sure. It's all about learning the aircraft systems, following the rules, that kind of thing. Um, I wouldn't mind there being some sort of career mode where you could like, you know, gather your stacks and improve your aircraft or buy new aircraft or something. But yeah, there's nothing like that in here, unfortunately. No worries. 50 miles out from Auckland now. Yeah, for me personally, that's a big part of it. Like Microsoft Flight Sim has modeled the entirety of the world for all intents and purposes, right? So, as someone who hasn't really done a lot of traveling myself, it's nice to be able to go pretty much anywhere and just see some facsimile of what the world would look like, right? Experience new places. Also, like flying. It's not like a lot of games where you just jump in and press start and get in the air. It can be as realistic as you want if you have a good quality aircraft, right? So just loading into an aircraft like the McDonnell Douglas DC-6, um, that thing's checklist has hundreds of steps to it, to the degree that the model in game here includes an AI to help you out. But you don't need to use it. Like you could go through and manage all of those systems yourself. So there's a huge learning curve if you're into that kind of thing. And that's just the aircraft. Like that doesn't even touch on the navigational side of things. Like I largely use this application called Sky Vector to plot my flights, right? So just learning what all of this means, learning how to tune frequencies and that kind of thing. It takes a certain type of person to enjoy that in their free time, I'll admit, but yeah, it's fun once you get into it. I was never really into flight sims until it launched on Xbox, but since it launched on Xbox, I've since put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it and spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars switching to PC to improve that experience. So there must be something good. Where are you from, Abergonia? Hungary. I don't think I've flown in Hungary yet. Yeah, PlayStation simulator options are pretty limited, I've heard. I mean, you obviously don't have access to this one, and all the others are probably just indie titles trying to cash in on the fad, right? Means potato. Whichever you prefer. It's entirely possible I'm butchering the pronunciation, of course, but I try. I make an effort. You know, I was thinking it was a little early to descend, but I'm quite high, so drop 1,000 feet and see how much I regret it. That'll do. 29 miles out now. Depends how fast you're going, right? I wonder how fast I can get to Hungary from Auckland if I'm in, I don't know, an F-35. It's probably still a very long flight. New Zealand is pretty much the middle of nowhere, let's be real. I mean, Australia is the middle of nowhere, and New Zealand is like outside of that. So, well, I've got VODs on my YouTube channel where I'm doing an around the world trip where I started in the city that I live in, and I'm going to, I don't want to say all, but most of the countries as I kind of travel and circumnavigate the globe. And I'm most worried about my stops in New Zealand because the aircraft I've chosen, its range is like barely long enough to get from Queensland to Hobart, that jump from New Zealand to Australia. So I'm worried about not being able to make that leg of my journey, honestly, because it's so far out there. We're far off course now. Been gabbing. Yeah, for sure. As realistic as you can get, I imagine. Like the world is created one to one, right? So as fast as you can get your aircraft to go, it's how long it'll take. You can speed up your simulator. I've never done it, but there is a way to like increase your sim speed to two, three times or whatever if you don't have the time to do a long flight or various other reasons you might want to do that. But yeah, if you're flying real time, then it's real time. I know guys in Discord who regularly do long haul flights overnight. So they'll like take off at JFK and they'll land in, somewhere in France or Spain, sometimes Germany. 9 hours later. So here's Auckland Airport. I'm hoping to like come into this water here, and I'm gonna land kind of next to it. That's our goal. Start dropping our altitude a bunch as well. I mean, depends where you want to take off from, and again, which aircraft you fly. Like, you don't have to take off from Hungary. You could take off in somewhere in Canada. But yeah, if you want to fly from Hungary to Alaska, expect a stop or two and expect a couple days, I guess. I've been doing my around the world flight for weeks now, and I'm not very far from the big scope of things. Like, I've been doing this flight from Napier to Auckland with that brief stop in I can never remember its name, Rotorua, and it has taken me an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, that guy who does all the long hauls I mentioned, he'll regularly just go to bed, right? Like, you'll set up your sim, you'll set your autopilots, you'll set your headings, and then you'll just go to bed. You'll wake up and you'll do the landing, that kind of thing. Or I'm more busy these days, so it's more difficult for me to do. But like, you can just be flying and kind of AFK while you're working from home, for example. Like, I'll have it on one screen, just performing a flight, and then I can do other things while it's flying. Right? It's really good for that kind of stuff. If you've never played Flight Sim, man, the first thing, first of all, do it. You should. Secondly, the first thing you'll do is you'll fly by your house. You'll go and you'll check out where you live and see your own neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. I'll do kind of a low altitude flyby of Auckland here so you can check it out. Yeah, so they use satellite data to, they basically use Bing Maps, right? Or Google Maps, Bing Maps, but the same idea. And then they use an AI to kind of like place all the buildings based on satellite data. So it's super realistic. Um, in fact, after I get this landed in the water here, uh, I want to like show you how realistic it can be, because there are some cities that have been updated with something called photogrammetry, where it basically uses a real scan of the city to put the actual buildings in there rather than just like AI generic buildings where they're supposed to be. Um, Even the generic settings look good, but the photogrammetry ones are next level. I'll load up like London or something and show you. All right, time to start slowing the heck down. Well, yes and no. So if you want to go full PC and you want really high end graphics, then yeah, a decent graphics card is obviously important. Um, I went with the Xbox route for the first several months, and it runs it just fine. Like if you can get your hands on a Series S or something like that, uh, it's fantastic. Frankly, you can even stream that to PC. I streamed it to PC and didn't even need a graphics card just by virtue of how I was doing things. Flaps down. I've still got my propellers and stuff going, so are we gonna stop? The answer's almost certainly no. Oh, because the sim takes my fucking thing away. I hate that. I hate it so much. It stole my cursor from me, which is kind of annoying when I'm trying to land my plane. There we go. We're down. All right. So that was all there was to that flight. I'm gonna load up. Name a city you want to see. A big one. I would suggest like Paris, Berlin, London, New York, something like that. Tokyo? I could do Tokyo. I think Tokyo was also photogrammetry. They did Japan early. And Tokyo, I actually happen to have an add-on for an aircraft carrier, so that'll work. What I'll do is I'll go to Tokyo. Let's set it so it's like daytime. Now I'm going to load up on my aircraft carrier, and then we'll land in Tokyo. Runway. Shouldn't be runway departure. Whatever. National Diet Building. Yeah, okay, whatever. We'll just go to Tokyo Tower. I probably should have done this in a slower aircraft, but I'm not familiar with Barra Airport. Alright, here's me loaded up in an F-35. Southwest of Tokyo. The F-35, of course, comes with hover mode. Who says Barra is the hardest? I would say Lukla is the hardest airport in the world. Yeah, of all the aircraft with buttons, this one arguably has the fewest. It's like one LCD panel. I'm not exactly sure where I am, so I'm just going to open this. Oh, there goes the sound barrier. Speed brakes. Yeah, I'm not sure I would do very well flying in real life either. I kind of fly like a maniac. So we just watch that guy over there go into the earth. So yeah, this is Tokyo. We're going to get some frame rate issues. You'll have to forgive me. Pretty insane, if I do say so myself. Like, you got cars on the roads, every building, like... Yeah, you can. It's called active pause. It'll like stop your aircraft and let you adjust the camera and like fiddle with settings, that kind of stuff. It's great for taking screenshots. You can take lots of really amazing pictures in this game, which is something I really enjoyed doing. All right, full afterburner. blow some people's windows out at 10 frames per second. Yeah, there are a million reasons to play this sim, man. Um, like I don't want to presume what you do or do not know, but like all of the weather is tracked real time, so like to varying degrees of success, right? A lot of people have complaints, but what I can say is the weather is somewhat representative of what the weather in the actual place you're flying is. All of the you get a bunch of like generic flights and AI flights that run routes around the world, that kind of stuff. It's super fun. Let me see if I can black out. I'll show you the G effects. Might not be able to. My pilot is too good. I can fix that. So I'm currently set to jet pilot, right? But if I go civil aviation and go G suit off, then like the slightest G forces will cause me to black out. So now I have to black out until the blood leaves my head. Right. Now that's blacking out. There's also redding out, but it's quite a bit harder to do. There you go. Just depending on if you have positive or negative G-forces, right? Oh god, I'm so not used to flying with the civilian setting. I'm gonna crash for sure. It is quite dangerous. There's uh there's this loop in Germany slash Switzerland that I like to fly. It's just a lot of canyon flying, and I'd like to do it as fast as I can. It it's dangerous. If there's any clouds or anything at all, you'll clip a mountaintop for sure. But it's a lot of fun. Next to Germany, yeah. I may have, I say I'm not sure if I've flown in Hungary. I probably have. I think they had an update in that region of the world recently. I'm sure I've flown through it naively or ignorantly at some point. Man, I live in Alberta, Canada. You don't get to talk to me about boring and flat. We're just prairies and farmland, basically. Oh God, it's a good thing I'm landing. I have bingo fuel. Shit. Yeah, you can see I've got very, very low fuel here. I'm just on time to land. We're significantly bigger than Hungary. We're probably 100 Hungaries in size. Oh, we're all over the shop. We're all over the shop. That's okay. Brakes. I don't even know where next taxiway is, bro. Okay, way up there. We'll see if we can get to my parking spot before my fuel runs out. How about that? I didn't gauge my fuel for this flight at all. I just kind of took off. And hovering uses a lot of fuel. That was the same frequency I was already on. Yeah, take care, man. It was good having someone to chat with. I'm actually done for the morning as well. Just wrapping up. Hope you enjoy your day, man. All right. So yeah, that's all I'm doing this morning. I may come back and play a couple other games a little later today, but it's a nice little flight around New Zealand, trying out the new Twin Otter by Aerosoft. A few bugs, few navigational issues, few sound issues. Um, I still think the aircraft's pretty good. Price is right for sure. Um, yeah, highly recommended. Also stopped in Tokyo, did a carrier takeoff, showed one of the viewers here what the photogrammetry cities are like. So maybe we'll have a new flight simmer in our ranks here soon. But yeah, I'll likely be back a little later today. But with any luck, next week will be less horrible at work than this last one was. So maybe I'll have a little more energy in the mornings to stream some more through the week. Goodbye for now, everyone. Thanks for watching VODs. Thanks for tuning in, etc., etc., etc.